Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages, welcome to a very special episode of the DC Infinite Hour. Joined with me as always, we have Brad, the DC Universe geek, legend of DC action figure reviews and social commentary. Next, we have Handsome Rob, the beauty of the show, one of the best action figure photographers, in the game. So thank you, boys, for joining me on this very special episode, which we are going to focus only on McFarlane DC action figures as of January 5th, 2024. So yes, we are going to go through 90% of the Superman figures released by McFarlane. I'm probably missing a few, but
we're trying.
We're trying here.
We're human. We're fallible.
We are just going to go through these figures one by one, talk about them, give us our thoughts. And boys, are you ready to dive into it?
Let's
do it.
There we go. All right.
Do it.
We're going to start from the beginning, where it all began. Action Comics 1000 Superman. Guys, what are your thoughts on the very first Superman figure released by McFarlane Toys?
Iconic. Yeah, iconic. Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing it and I was blown away by the proportions, and the large S is what drew me. I love large S's on the chest. And the only thing that's, the downside is, one, it's only single jointed elbows and there's no yellow S on the cape. But honestly, the single joints are fine for me. I'm just missing the S on the back, but it's pretty awesome. I mean, the color is great. It's modern. The head sculpt still to this day is being used, so that says something.
Yep, very good head sculpt, and to this day, probably still not only an iconic Superman figure in general, but one of the best in the line.
Yeah.
And I agree, boys. I mean, 5 years later, after the release, it's still amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cape is great. I like my Supermans to have a shorter cape, but that's a very regal cape.
Yeah, very kingly.
Yeah,
very kingly cape.
Now, soon after that, not soon, like a year or two after that, we did get this variant with a little bit more angrier face. What do we think about Pissy Soups?
I did not pick this one up just because I don't really need a like an angry face Superman. The body seems to be the same except for maybe the hands. So I mean, I was okay to pass on this one, but
I picked it up because I review, so I just picked it up anyway because I'm going to review it. And then I like the angry face. Not that I don't like the fact that whenever you get an extra head, it's either angry or it has heat vision eyes, and rarely do they look happy, right? Which is a huge component to his character. But there's times when you need that angry face for action figure photography. So I actually had a lot of fun photographing just because of that. And there was actually a notable change with this Superman, two of them actually, compared to the other one. I found that the abdomen, the plastic was a little bit thinner below the S.
Oh.
Just a little bit thinner. And then notably with Action Comics 1000, they put the shoulder sockets in wrong. They put them in backwards.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so you can actually take the ones from Action Comics 1000, pop the arms out and put them in their right. The ones in that one,
you can't see it.
Right? You see that? They put them in backwards. Someone at the factory messed up. So that one actually got the shoulders like they were supposed to be, and it really makes the figure look so much better.
So, guys, this is why I did this with you two. I was going to do the solo, and I would not have like a tenth of the knowledge, and like fucking freaking Brad over there.
No,
No, it's unbelievable, man. I know, but this is great, dude. This is what the people want to hear.
I didn't even know that. So
yeah, look at that. Okay, and then finally, they only released this 3 times, and this is the third and most recent version.
Yeah,
which I think is almost even arguably better than the first version if you're a fan of these colors, right?
Yeah. For me, this is like the pinnacle of Superman's in McFarlane form. Again, just missing that yellow. I would love for them to do like an embossed yellow S like they did for DC Direct.
Yeah.
But can't have everything.
Yeah. Add that to the digital sculpt.
Yeah.
and have it stamp painted
Yeah.
on, and should be fairly easy if they did it that way. But
Yeah.
probably costs a lot. Every stroke of the brush is a penny. So I wonder how much an S costs.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. For me, the S on the back of the cape's more important to me than the trunks. Like I could do without the trunks most of the time. I'd rather have the S on the back of the cape.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite, or it's certainly one of my favorite Superman figures ever made. Right up there with Action Comics 1000. But I like this one better because I prefer the colors.
Yeah.
And some of the head sculpts on that Superman that you're holding can be wonky, like with the eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, I got 3 of them so far because I customized a few, and one of them it actually the eyes were painted on a lot better. They were painted on properly. Yeah, but in the end, I just swap heads anyway. I just wanted the lighter blue and the solid red instead of a shiny S on the chest.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, keeping with the original releases, what did you guys think about the animated Superman? Brad's impressions tell a story, but
he's got a mullet.
He really does, and this was an interesting road to go down. I admire them for trying something different in the first few waves, trying different styles with they had this cyborg, John Stewart, and they had the Flash, right? Yeah,
Flash,
you know.
Yeah. Well, if this Superman teaches us anything, it's that Todd does listen to people, because I think there was more of a vocal majority that were like, "This is dumb." I mean, I'm sure there's people that like it. I've got it, but I was like, I remember thinking, are we really going to waste action figure slots on these? Give us comic book versions or whatever. Not this movie or comic book, but not the animated ones. And I just think it's a doofy looking figure.
And what do you think about his? His silver black.
I think that one's actually better.
No, more doofy.
Really?
Yeah, I hate them both.
I like the colors on this one. I agree with Rob.
Yeah,
the look of it.
Nope, doofy.
I think that's body
Superboy Prime,
Superman
wrong. Prime.
This reminds me of Emperor Joker Superman. You know.
Don't you remember when Superman Prime wore all black with the silver and the light cape?
Yeah,
that's what that reminds me of. I just think people chuck around the black suit too much.
Yeah,
they're just let's put him in black. What for? Did he die recently? No, it's just randomly because.
Now look at this, guys.
That's
again another original McFarlane release, and dude, again, what a banger of a first wave, right? Look at this. This is just putting the mic drop on sculpting, paint, Rob, what do you think about this guy, buddy?
I love the metallic colors. I love the sculpt. He was so fun to photograph. People are still using that for Steel. Yeah, which obviously it would be incredible if they used that too. Yeah, I don't know if we need to revisit it as much as times as we had, but for the first one, that's still the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's really accurate. It's only on Superman Unchained is a great New 52 story of Superman. One of the best actually, where he faces an almost impossible foe that's been hidden by the government for years. Fantastic story. And that suit is only on 2 pages of the entire series, and I've never seen it since, and I never saw it before.
Right.
So this is back when Todd was just picking from whatever he thought looked cool. I think now
it just looks very anime.
It does look very anime, but now he's got people in his ear that are I think more directing him towards comic accurate stuff.
Here's one of the variants. I forgot which one this was specifically, but
this is his powered up suit version.
There you go.
It's interesting looking. I passed on it. I was nah, I don't need it.
I was such a completist for this figure because I love it so much.
Very good.
Right, the Patinia version.
The Patinia is good.
You put a regular head on that and give him a sword, and you've got knight in shining armor suits.
Oh, that's a great idea, dude.
Yeah, I love that figure. I gave mine to Jason just because I don't have any room for it in my collection, but I love it.
Gorgeous.
And it's such a beautiful sculpt to be patinaed.
I didn't miss one figure from the Action Figures body range. Red Sun Superman.
It took time to grow on me.
Yeah.
It did. It took time, but I do like it now. And I used the head sculpt. I pulled the hair off and put regular spit curl hair on it, and it looks beautiful. But yeah, it's a great figure. Love it.
This was the first figure to get customized. So like I actually used it to make my custom Rebirth Superman before Rebirth came out.
Yeah,
because I used the cape.
Yeah,
and I think I might have used the head. But yeah, that body got torn apart, and I don't know where it's at anymore.
Well, on figures and in the dump.
Yeah,
maybe.
I love that it was the first Elseworlds figure we got.
Yeah,
right. You know, because that was an Elseworlds story, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was the second one. Speeding Bullets was the first, right?
Yeah, and I believe that might have been the second where he lands on
in the Soviet Union, right? Yeah.
He lands on a communist farm in Russia.
I think it was Mark Miller was the writer. It was great.
Which is funny because that one is probably more thought of as an Elseworlds than Speeding Bullets, even if Speeding Bullets was first.
I would say that and Gotham by Gaslight are the two most iconic.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now this was
what next for us.
This was one of my favorites. This was like the first death metal. And I was so excited for this figure because I love shit like this, dude. You know, as much as I love the classics, but I love death metal. I love its design.
Yeah,
it was just a crazy, like, it's so. Rob, what do you think, buddy? You're smirking a little bit. What are your thoughts? Be honest, buddy.
It's Glenn Danzig as Superman.
I didn't think that till now. Now I can't unsee that.
I remember first getting this and like, okay, how can I use the chest? Because before this was the first one that had that true blue.
Oh yeah.
For the infected line.
Yeah, you and I were going along the same route.
Yeah, I mean, I still have it. It's great. I didn't customize it. I use them for like my rock motifs and stuff, but other than that, like, I was never a big fan of the metal storyline. So it's just what it is.
Okay, fair.
I really liked it, except for I never liked his face. I felt like the paint was too simple, so it didn't look like Superman at all. So I took a regular Superman head and just swapped wigs, and ta-da! And now I think I love it. I mean, I could do some more paint detail on it, but no, yeah, I really like that figure, and I really liked metal. Like, I'm the complete opposite of Rob there. Like, I've read the whole.
I love metal, dude. I got the Absolute Edition here recently.
Yeah.
And, oh man, dude,
isn't it awesome?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful artwork, beautiful story. It's what happens when someone says, "Screw it, let's write a story that is so weird and asinine and out there and creative and not like anything we've done." Right, and so you had no choice but to just like hold on for dear life as this ridiculous story kept playing. There's a Joker dragon, right? And the whole thing was just asinine. So yeah, I mean, and
dude, it was so hard to follow, man. If you ask me to describe the plot, I cannot describe the plot. But it's like it's crazy, but it's great. It's great. Moving on to a little Dark Knight Returns action here. We'll see this figure again later, as the body, anyways. But what do you guys think about this Frank Miller style Superman?
You want to go first, Rob?
Sure. I was actually stoked for it, to be honest. The only thing that I did, and I think Brad did the same because Brad told me about it, was the Q-tip, the belt, so that you could see the loops.
Yeah, acetone the paint off the belt loops.
Like acetone on a Q-tip.
Acetone on a Q-tip.
Other than the Q, like doing that, I think it's pretty perfect as is, and I love the sculpt. I mean, I don't like my Superman always this size, but for Frank Miller, I felt this was, the right choice.
Yeah, I felt like the body was like the right sculpt. I liked the sculpt, but I put this like if you look at I've got a list here.
There,
right?
Look at that.
Right?
It really looks like an homework assignment you did for class.
I've got it in the doofy. See, the good, the bad. And the doofy.
Oh, I love that.
He's in the doofy. And the reason why he's in the doofy list, it's because the belt loops was a problem. It's like, come on, that's just laziness. Everyone knows those belt loops are supposed to be red. The paint spray that they used on the inside of the logo was not enough. So I had to repaint all mine inside the logo. And then the face just it's never done it for me. I like the figure. Like my review of it is good because I do
Yeah.
like the figure overall, but it is kind of doofy. And the head sculpt,
Yeah.
the paint, and the belt loops did it for me. So,
It's interesting with Frank Miller's art, where like this is an accurate representation of it, but
Yep.
you look at the figure with a totally different sculpt, which is also accurate, because he looks so different in that, you know, in different angles in that
Well, 'cause
comic.
his art was so chaotic. You get one
Yeah.
picture that was like done really well, and the proportions were a certain way, and then all of a sudden there'd be another picture, and he's all gnarled
Right.
and stuff, and the proportions are all weird. So I feel like that's a good happy medium.
Now here is his younger version, not really, but there's the same body with a different head with we call this a Return to Superman one. And Brad, I don't think you have this yet, or do you?
It's on the way. It's in the mail, but I can tell you, that would go in my doofy pile. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love the colors.
Yeah.
The belt loops are good. The paint inside the S is perfect. The only problem is, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't mean to be mean, but why did they put a head that is too small for the body on that figure?
Bro,
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, but I love it. It's like some cartoony, over the top 90s beefcake looking Superman.
Hey, what was the storyline? The one we were talking about.
Where
he gets all buffed out, he gets overcharged or something.
There's that. There's also another artist I found who drew him like this from that era.
Really?
That looks. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I forgot his name. It was actually
Not
Barry
Bogdanov.
Kitson.
Was it Bogdanov?
No, it was Barry Kitson. And like, if you look at some of his art, it looks like this.
You know what? I'm super stoked about getting that figure in the mail, but not to leave it as is.
Yeah,
I know that sounds bad. I'm buying it specifically to rip the head off and put it on one Superman, and then I've got a custom head for Frank Miller that I'm going to put on that body, and then it's perfect. Like I think it's great. There's just the wrong combination. That's all.
Yeah, I used the head. I mean, I still have that one, and it's sitting on my shelf. But I made the custom that you guys saw.
Yeah. I still love it, but all right.
Perfect blue. That's been the trend lately, right?
Yeah,
lightening up the blue.
Are you going to show the Kryptonite one?
No, they gave it away. Remember?
Oh yeah. Well, that one has a different blue than the.
Yes,
that's true. It has a dark one.
Yeah.
All right. So here is Superman from Flashpoint, which which I love just because it's a very accurate Superman from that story. Some say he should be a little skinnier. Probably true. But what do you guys think about this Superman?
Want to go, Brad?
Little emo.
You had to do that, didn't you, Asoka? You had to just stretch his abs out on purpose. You knew I'd see it. Okay, well, for one, oh man, that is horrible. That is terrible. They could have at least stretched the paint out. I like the figure.
Yeah.
I've still got it. I like the black. I like the fact that it's smaller. I did swap out the heads, and I actually put. Oh, what did I put? I put a different head on there. But I've got one vanilla. Even vanilla, it's a good figure. My only qualm with it is that when you move that torso articulation.
Do you think they learned from that?
Pardon?
I hope they learned from that.
Yeah, that's doofy.
Because I feel like with Hasbro, with the certain ones of Spider-Man, when you move, they actually have the paint underneath now.
Yeah.
So I hope that they take a note from that and this and fix that in the future.
He is nice. He looks like he hasn't seen the sunlight though, so I like that about him. They got that part. Why is he dirty though?
Well, he was an
he wasn't dirty. There's no he never had a 5 o'clock shadow.
This is the Gerard way.
Dirty. Pardon?
Or Jared Way from My Chemical Romance.
Oh, the singer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's probably one of my favorite Superman figures from McFarlane.
This is one I don't actually own.
What?
Yeah.
I don't anymore either.
Dude, that head sculpt. Look at that head sculpt, man.
Is that the same head sculpt for the Justice Lord?
No, different head sculpt.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is based on Mike. Is it Janlin's?
He's side-eyeing. Jeez.
I don't know. It's a little S&M for my taste.
Yeah. Well,
I thought you were into that.
In the comic book, there's a joke about him using that for S&M.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I saw
John
that.
discovers that hanging in the closet. Dad, why do you still have that? That's just the closet.
I do wish we had gotten, I hope we eventually get the original '90s version of this from our story, which is even more scantily clad,
I like the figure. I thought it was because I read that whole storyline.
Yeah.
Right? And it was heartbreaking to see him not on Earth, but it was so I love stories where Superman triumphs And this is one where he triumphed and he wasn't even powered. You know, he has Kryptonian physiology, so he's stronger than a normal human, no matter what.
Yeah.
His skin is tougher than a normal human's. That's just his DNA. But he wasn't powered. His cells weren't powered.
Right.
And I really, really enjoyed that whole storyline. I ripped mine apart because I took the
Ouch.
head for something and I wanted the hair, and then I stole the emblem off the chest. And now looking at that, I'm regretting it. And I'm going to go to the game store and buy one today.
There you go, dude. I mean, look at that S. Look at that shield. It's beautiful. Alex Ross. Lovely.
It doesn't fit on any of the chests of the other Supermans for me to customize, though, so I haven't been able to use it.
Now, Brad, here's another recovery suit Superman. Why is he in this black? This is stealth suit Superman, basically, right?
Yeah. I think they tried to pit it as recovery suit, but it's not really.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
He wore that so that he could be stealth, right?
Yeah,
while
the Lois and
52 was doing his thing. He'd be in the background trying to neutralize enemies before the New 52 Superman had to deal with them, which is a bit of really good retconning, because that's why New 52 Superman never encountered all kinds of villains, right? They were like, oh, that's because the real Superman was there dealing with them.
I love that whole comic line. And when he merges with the New 52 version.
Superman
and
Red,
then,
Superman Blue, basically.
Then Clark Kent comes back, and you're like, what the F's going on?
That was Mixie-Plick.
Right. Oh, so good, dude. I love that whole era. You know?
How did you forget me?
Dude, I even love the era where Clark is exposed in the New 52 by Lois Lane.
Yeah.
You know, and then Bendis does it later, like the same story, but I don't think he did it as well, personally.
No. I want my Superman to have a secret identity, but
oh yeah,
this figure falls. It fell in my good column, but it does fall short of the mark.
Tell us why, Brad. Tell us why.
Well, I mean, if we're trying to go by Liebermejo's artwork, right?
Yeah.
The blue needs to be more blue, and the red needs to be more red. That's number one. And they probably actually could have made that whole figure just a tad shiny. Because he usually depicts his S as shiny.
That's sure, yeah.
Right?
Like a little gloss, a little veneer. Yeah.
So I'd like the figure. I've got a few of it, but I never liked the color palette. That was my issue. I thought that the color palette stank.
Rob, what do you think, sir?
I think the body mold is perfect.
Yes.
The cape looks great. I love the way that it swooshes to the one side. But the belt for me, I need the belt loops and take the S off of the belt buckle. I don't like the muted colors, but I don't mind it. The head is a little too jaw's too square, but it's not a bad head portrait. It's just not Clark.
Yeah, he's been doing meth in the bathroom. That's all.
Speaking of meth in the bathroom, there's a better representation of that.
What a good segue.
Excellent segue.
I do like how vibrant that is, though.
Yeah, a very nice color palette on this figure. I mean, it's a fun little. It's like almost Bizarro version of the other one, right?
Yeah,
it could work like that.
I stole the parts off that and put them on a different one, and I've been painting it.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to grab it. I liked it. I like that one because, what did I do? Oh, hold on. No, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, go grab it.
Show you what I did with it, because when you take the Vampire Superman and you take that one and you swap the color parts.
Oh, there you go, dude.
Right. So this is one that Darkseid has, he's lost to the equation, or maybe it's the Multiverse. And Vampire Soup's with the black and the bright red.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that does look awesome.
Just
well
basic
done,
part swaps.
All right. So we did those ones. Damn, I love how quickly we're going through these guys. Okay, here is Blackest Night Superman. And, for me, it's fine. It's based on a comic book. It's a cool design. It's fun.
I actually love this figure.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, the head sculpt's amazing in my opinion. I do love the proportions and how they did the suit. This is a home run for me.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
I like the whole wave. I remember when I reviewed the wave, I was like, I had so much fun posing them because I could pose them all
I mean,
That's true.
Green Lantern in general is one of my favorites, and Blackest Night was fantastic. And I was
great
actually
comic.
thinking that I had more love actually reading Sinestro Corps leading into Blackest Night than I did Blackest Night.
Wow.
I like the the war, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Dude, the whole era with Jeff Johns and
War of the Rings.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That led right into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great stuff.
Yeah, love that figure though.
Honorable mention is this. We're not doing superpowers, but here's a 6-inch Batman 66. Brad, yeah,
it's a 6-inch, right?
It's a 6-inch.
5.5.
I guess 5.5. So I guess you shouldn't count. But I thought I'd throw him in there. I think it's fine for the concept.
I fixed it.
Yeah,
look at that.
That does look a lot better.
It's a fun Superman. It's a fun little cute Superman.
He got the body, and he got he got most of it right. But like I know the artwork that's based off of.
Yeah.
And that cape, the way the cape is done, is just lazy.
That I do dislike these capes.
The whole thing is lazy, and then there's no real spit curl. It's there if you look close. He does have a spit curl, but it's like up, and it doesn't hang down. So the head and the cape don't match the artwork at all. But I like it once you fix it.
All right, on to
that's fixed.
Our boy, Mr. Cavill. There he is. The head sculpt is, it could have used a little bit more detailing. The head sculpt got so much better later on, like with Black Adam and even the Flash to some degree. I mean, the suit I think is fantastic. The texture and all that.
I think this figure is phenomenal. I was stoked to finally get it. The head sculpt, I think the sculpt's there. I think it's just that it needs better paint.
Yeah.
But as it is, it's like one of my the whole Zack Snyder.
Jacques. I love
it. Schneider. Zack Schneider. It's like
Schneider.
German pronunciation.
Zack Schneider.
Yeah. It's a home run for me.
Yeah, it's a great figure. It's beautiful. Brad?
Knock, knock. Who's there? Doesn't matter. Let me in. So how I feel about that figure is, I feel like that figure would it's in my bad list.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think it's in the bad list.
Interesting.
Yeah, movie black suit and movie suit, and for one, it's just because that suit is not the pinnacle of super suits for me, so that's part of it. But the way that it was executed, the figure, when you go to move his ab crunch up and look inside the ab crunch, what do you see?
I see.
What the heck are those?
Oh yeah, extra
little bits of plastic, right?
Yeah,
so I didn't like those. And then I always felt like the blue should be a little bit more shiny because he wore a silver bodysuit underneath the suit, right?
Well, so that's technically correct.
It gave that sheen, right?
Yeah.
And this is not they could have got away with it looking just like this if it was Man of Steel, but it's not.
I think that's why I like this more, because I kind of like this color more than the movie suit in the Justice League.
If I repainted it, put on a new cape, and then bought a custom head with the spit curl of Cavill, I'd probably like it more, which I'm in the process of doing. But as is, I've grown to like it less over time.
And you don't even like the black version either. Same complaints pretty much.
I don't know. My honest opinion is the black suit is just overused. So,
agreed, but man, just seeing listen, seeing
it in the movie, I get it. But
I know, but just seeing him in a suit like this on the big screen, I don't know, it did it for me. Rob, what do you think about the black suit version?
I like it. I thought it worked in the movie. However, I do wish that in the movie he wore his regular colored suit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish he went to.
It was a better representation of the story. And I wanted it to have the best version of Superman and not just something to differentiate it.
Yeah.
I think if he had changed at the end to the regular suit, I would have been cool with that.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if he resurrected earlier and they didn't know it. And then he had to get to where the Justice League was and he had to wear that suit on the way there while he was recharging. And then he recharged. He was fully recharged when he got there. Something happens to recharge and maybe energy goes off of the hammer off the axe,
Here.
the ice axe, right? And then recharges him. So they kind of adapt the comics, right? Would have made sense, but he just like wore it.
A little pose with his arm like this. All right. Injustice 2 Superman.
Not my favorite take on the costume.
Okay, fair.
I changed it. For one, they messed like the headpiece he wears is not silver. If you look at it, it's silver. It should be blue. So I painted mine blue, and that actually when you repaint it blue, it brings out the framing on the face a lot better, and it actually looks nice. But just looking at the figure itself, I mean, I think that Todd, aside from his company not doing the blue around the head, I think it's a pretty great take on the figure.
I think so too, and I
like that figure.
Yeah, having it in person, I just love it. Rob, what do you think, dude?
As for an action figure, I think it's great. I love the metallic and everything.
Yeah.
All of that aside, it is my least favorite suit that Superman has ever worn.
Yeah.
But seeing this makes me want a Hunter Prey Superman suit.
Oh yeah, dude.
I want them to do that after seeing that with the colors and stuff.
Yeah.
But as an action figure, it's fun. I mean, I did enjoy him a lot more than I thought I was going to.
And let's face it, we needed this Superman figure to fill out our Injustice ranks, right? Because we had Dr. Fate, Reverse Flash, Batman. I mean, the big long list, right? But no soups. And Superman and Batman were the two main focal points.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, we are on now, guys. So now here is the how do I put this? This is the original carrier of the infected strain of Body Bucks, which we are going to see pretty much for the rest of the video. But here's the original, and I remember seeing this figure saying, "Man, hope they do a regular Superman like this." And they sure did.
Oh yeah,
they sure did.
Yeah, your wish is my command.
Now I will say a little soapbox for a moment. This is not new. Mattel did it.
Oh yeah.
DC Direct not as much. Marvel does it all the time. You reuse the same buck, and when you have a good buck, you reuse it a lot and then you change it.
Of the game. It
has been the
beginning of action figure time.
You know,
G.I. Joes were all the same buck with a different head.
Right.
Like I'm talking the old school ones, right?
But what do you guys think about this original Infected? Like when you first, without knowing how many more versions we would get of this, what did you guys think when you first got this?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It made me like you said, want a regular Superman, but
I thought you were going to say it made me want to be a better man. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean?
I saw how crappy he behaved like that, and I thought I don't want to be like that. I was a little bit like, why did they make it like purpley? Because in the source material, it's not purple; it's still blue and red.
Yeah.
But I thought it's also going to make a killer Bizarro, which
that's what I did.
Exactly what I did. I made a Bizarro out of that as well. So I've got Infected and I've got a Bizarro, and I think it's fantastic. And there is subtle shading, if I remember correctly, on that figure. You didn't always get that with Soups.
Yeah, that's true.
On that one,
a beautiful figure.
Yeah.
Now from there, I don't know if I'm going in order here, but we got Rebirth Superman, which was the Rebirth version of using that body, and I was super
getting your shitty boots though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about that for a moment, Brad.
Well, why? Like, why did they have to just try to? Did they think we wouldn't notice that they just painted red lines over top of the regular boots?
Yeah.
And all they had to do was use Batman's boots.
But overall, I still love this figure.
Yeah. The blue was. A lot of people did what I did, right? And they didn't do it because I did it. They just did it because we all have the same idea. You could kit bash that Superman and Action Comics 1000 together.
Yeah.
Because the blues were so similar. They're not exact, but they're so similar. You could give him double jointed elbows on the arms. You could give him thicker abs for Action Comics 1000. And some people wanted to give him thicker upper thighs. And so you could kit bash them together and come up with what a lot of people still consider to be their ultimate Superman.
I mean, I had this one, like before this one, I took the Bizarro body, which was very similar, and made it into I took the cape from from Red Sun to make this, but it was like a muted color.
I remember.
So when this came out, I was happy that it was more vibrant. and so forth. And then I also got another one to do what Brad did, and I cut the tip of the cape off.
Yeah,
which to me is like the perfect length for Superman's cape.
I remember very much those pictures when you shared them online.
Yeah.
Wow, like it was yesterday. Holy crud.
Now this didn't come out. This came out pretty recently, but here's another version.
That one I was stoked on because when I used the Rebirth body to paint to make my own, and Asoka, I think I sent you one.
Yeah.
The red on the boots was not perfect, like it didn't match, whereas this now matches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so, but this is technically like Rebirth 2.0, right?
Yeah. So what I did,
I didn't even notice that.
Kind of, yeah.
So what I did was I bought another one and I took the shorts off of Hush Superman, put them on that, cut the tip of the cape off, and then put long hair Superman on that. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that picture too. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be somewhere between, like it's Rebirth and it's Reborn.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
like they could even make that a new 52 if they like put like a collar and stuff. I mean, the belt's different, but yeah, Brad, I want to see it.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, dude. Oh, that turned out great, dude.
Yeah, I had to pilfer
that.
The Kip-Ash King of Canada. Look at this guy.
I mean, I know the boots are different with Rebirth, but
yeah, they're way different. The only way you can get these boots, you could probably pilfer them off of Bizarro, New 52 Bizarro from DC Collectibles. But these are from who's that guy that makes the wonky shoulder joints? Amazing Yamaguchi.
Oh yeah.
He's untight.
Here is another version of this. This was like the Superman 85th anniversary. It comes with a beautiful display. I think, listen, if you put it in a display, it's like not as any sort of accurate comic book, more like like an art piece. I think it's cool.
Definitely an art piece. Yeah. And for that I like it.
As do I. But Brad does not.
No, I don't like it. Well, the thing is, like, I like the color blue. And you might like this actually. I was able to remove all the paint, put regular parts on it.
Oh, shit.
And come up with a nice, it's showing up different on yours, but it's the same one. Come up with a nice dark blue super suit. And this guy is waiting for an Alex Ross head sculpt.
Wow.
Okay.
So I liked it for that reason, but no, vanilla. I just thought, unless you pose it a certain way, you can't, like, what do you do with it?
You have to pose it a certain way, absolutely.
Right. I don't like being limited.
All right, so here now is, and listen, for as many times I use this buck, I do love having all these different versions of Superman's costume with the same body. I'm into that. But what do you guys think about Action Comics #1?
You go first, Rob.
Yes, Rob, please.
I don't know. I'm happy with it, but sad at the same time, because I wanted the I don't know what what are the boots called? Like the wrestler type.
The anklets.
Yeah.
The anklets or whatever.
Yeah.
Sandalets.
And I was never a fan of, as much as I love that we haven't gotten to the Hush yet with the S, but I just don't like that windswept cape. Like, I think it gets in the way of other figures when you're trying to stand. It looks good in certain poses like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a neck. The whole problem with that whole figure is he doesn't have a neck. It needs to have a taller neck peg.
Well, the problem is exactly. You hit the nail on the head. They packed that figure with too small of a neck peg, so his head starts on his whatever those muscles are right here.
Yeah,
and there needs to be some kind of,
and the body proportions are so much better when you do raise it up.
Yeah, you can put one in the waist and one in the neck.
Yeah, but
totally changes.
It's fine for what it is. I mean, I like that it's a different head sculpt. I like the other one better. Yeah, that one.
That one's that's Superman issue #1 technically.
Yeah, that is.
It looks great though. The colors.
And again, there's no belt loops, which sometimes he's drawn with them, sometimes he's not. But he should have them.
I definitively showed in Action Comics 1 that he was supposed to have the belt loops.
Yeah,
but they weren't always painted in. They weren't always colored in, but he definitely had them. This is what I did with my Action Comics. I got 2 of them. So this is the first time we saw the nice light blue. And because if you'll note, Action Comics #1 and the Platinum are the first time we have a big beefy buck Superman with no symbol inlaid into the chest. So that means you can take a symbol, right? Like that, Dremel the back off, and you can put the symbol on the chest if you're careful, like glue it right in there. So I was like, yep, here we go. Big beefy classic Supes right here. Change the hair. Yeah. And it's probably one of my favorite Superman figures now. So I was able to use that body buck 3 times. Oh, and Shazam.
Now here we start with the Hush Supermans. This is the first version, I believe, with the angry eyes, poison ivy infected. And look at that, boys. S on the back of the cape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is far and few between. What do you guys think about this guy? Brad, you go first this time.
Well, I mean, I bought like 10.
Yeah, conservatively.
Like I didn't buy them all at once from one place, but I bought like 10 for customizing. And
I see a fake news report. Sales of Superman Hush in Canada have seen a rise in this small town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's me. I ordered them from like different online retailers, and then my GameStop would just keep getting them in. So I was like, I'll buy one. You know, they always have one. I didn't buy them all usually. I think one I bought the last one, but usually I'd leave one behind. Because the blue was so good.
Yeah.
So all it needed was a new head, and it's so easy to just pop that head off the shoulders and put a new one on there. The only thing I didn't like, and I want to go back to the second Rebirth Superman you did. You don't got to show it, but the skin color was actually more lifelike on that. See that?
Yes. Yeah. That one has the best skin tone. As does also the Doomsday one.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the doofy face. Now, one thing I also want to point out, because the neck on that Rebirth one is the same as all the rest, like the neck peg is too short. If you pop the head off, give him a longer neck peg, heat up the head, squish it a bit so it's the proper size it should be, and then stick it back on, the smiling Superman head sculpt doesn't look nearly as doofy as it does when you get it. I really think if you haven't tried that, people at home, do that. It really fixes the figure.
We'll have a tutorial on the next special of Brad dremeling and heating up figures.
I didn't even dremel it. You just pop it off, squeeze it, and put it back on.
Yeah, I love that cape. I love the way that flows. You know, I know it gets in the way of other stuff, Rob, but it's like
it does look good, like in certain poses. But when he's just standing on the shelf, Now
I will say this next one is probably one of my favorites.
I love that one.
The skin tone, the face sculpt. Like, I wish they had just released a regular version of this unscathed.
Yeah.
Because this is so well done.
You can, of course. Here I come again. Here's what I did with mine. I removed the blood.
Oh, yeah.
And I put on, that's the head sculpt from Red Sun. And then I put spit curl hair on there from Angry Hush Supes, right? Replaced the cape. And it's beautiful. This is my go-to. This is my main Supes up in my display because I like this skin tone the very best. I think that it's this is, in my opinion, the Red Sun Supes face is the best serious face they ever did. The eyes are painted perfectly, the lips, everything. So, I mean, I love that figure as is.
Yeah.
For one, because it's good to have a beat up looking Supes for your dioramas and for your displays. But it's also, as a customizer, it's got, in my opinion, some of the best raw potential.
Speaking of missed potential, I think this should have been like the go-to best Superman, but that skin tone is just, even for me, who doesn't care that much. Rob, talk more about this guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the skin tone's just too pale. It's fine for like when he was like with Poison Ivy, whatever, in her influence or whatever. But for this, no, it should have had that pinker skin tone that the other ones had. If you would, I mean, you could swap them out, but you'd have to have like a different head sculpt other than that
and
goofy.
Neck. You can swap the necks out.
Swap the neck and the wrist pegs and the hands. Yeah, for sure.
The necks come right out because this is one of the beautiful things about McFarlane toys. They're DC figures. They're all separate pieces.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to paint them. It's cheaper for him to mold them than to pay someone to paint them, I think. I love that figure, but same thing as Rob there. Skin tone's kind of messed up. And I prefer the longer spit curl. So that's like a shorter one.
Well, and the part's on the wrong side though, but that, I mean, generally kind of drew it that way sometimes.
Yeah, he was weird. Sometimes he drew it that way, sometimes he drew it the other way.
Yeah.
Guys, we're on to our final figure.
Are we?
Believe it?
Are
We
we
are.
really?
I never see. We've been so efficient today.
Wow.
You know.
Look at us
And
go.
here he is, guys. I know. I'm not sure if you both have this guy.
I do not, but I have seen him in person.
Dude, I love the head sculpt on this. It's like kind of cartoony. It's very Justice Lord looking. Brad, what do you think?
Well, it's an
Okay.
egregious reuse of parts.
Egregious.
Well, for the legs, because like it's the regular Superman boots, and they've painted
Yeah.
the white. Which I mean, I'm like, come on, guys, stop doing that. That's dumb. We have bare legs. We could just put the bare legs on there and mold them in black. And I don't like the cape. I never liked that cape with Eradicator either. I actually cut the top 2 corners off that stick right out. That big one, gone.
Yeah.
I cut that right off.
I like it. I don't know what it is.
Imagine that cape flat. It doesn't make sense.
It's ridiculous.
Cape ever.
100%, dude. 100% ridiculous. Yeah. But I dig it. I think in the Eradicator, especially since like I could think of that as not really being a cape for him, like more of a part of him, you know.
Yeah.
But for this, I mean, listen, I can't argue with your criticism of that, but I love it.
I haven't bought it because I'm not going to order it. I don't want to pay shipping, but if I see it locally, I'll pick it up. But honestly, for me, that'd be a parts figure. I would buy that for the arms, shoulders, wrists, legs, everything, because it's except for the chest. It's a parts figure to make a better Green Lantern.
Okay, all right,
yeah,
fair enough. And guys, that's the last figure.
Is that really it?
There's one I'm missing that I have. It's the sketch edition. I just couldn't find it in time. And then I'm sure there's something else I'm missing. Probably a few things I'm missing. But as far as I know, those are all the main Superman figures as of 2024, January 5th. Obviously, by the time you watch this video, it's probably going to already be out of date. But we will do a sequel to this video. And we might have... Go ahead, Brad.
I was going to say, do we want to give an honorable mention? An honorable mention, not as a Superman, but as a pseudo Superman.
Yeah.
Superboy Prime.
Yes.
I know we talked about it and said, I don't really have to do it. But now that we've gone through them, I feel like it's the right thing to do to give like a pseudo mention to Superboy Prime because he's not really a teenager in that picture. He's too big. He's too tall.
Okay.
Right.
Well, you've done it. You've given the honorable mention. Yes,
honorable mention as one to be mentioned.
And there's a few other ones we can mention as well, like Eradicator, Bizarro, Ultraman. We don't want to get too down the rabbit hole, but there's definitely more Superman-esque characters we could have thrown in here. But yeah, Superboy Prime, absolutely. And but yeah, there it is, guys. Now, last question before we end this. What's your favorite standard McFarlane Superman figure that we went through? Yeah, vanilla, Brad. I'm sorry I had to do that to you.
Vanilla.
I mean, for me, I'm still going to go with, like, give you guys a second to think, with the Hush Superman. I'm going to go with that guy. Just, you know. And I think also, give two, this guy. I just love this guy so much.
So if you had to go to a desert island and take only one Superman figure with you, it would be either that one or it would be the previous. That
I know which one I'm taking.
I would say yes. I would say yes. Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
It's the Atomic Skull Superman.
Oh, duh. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that one too.
I can't choose that one because the paint face, the face for the paint. The paint for the face. It's just too wonky out of the box. I love the rest of it, but looking at the face, I'm like, it just looks a little derpy. So I vanilla, I would either have to go with Hush, the regular Hush, or the Action Comics 1000.
And those are great choices.
I can't pick between the two. One of the two. If you handed me either one and I was on my way to a desert island, I would be happy with either one.
Would you choose to take one of those Superman figures or your spouse with you to the desert island? I'm just kidding, guys.
Don't make me say this on
air. All right, guys.
My wife is watching when she's not. I love you. I would take you.
Sorry. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up. But thank you so much for joining us for the special edition of the DC Infinite Hour. And let us know in the comments what figures we missed. Let us know what your favorites are. And let us know what your hopes are for 2024. And also let us know if you'd like to do a video like this for like the Batman figures, the Wonder Woman figures, which would be a very short video. It's like 5 of them. It'd be very easy. But
do all the female figures and it'd be a short video.
10 minutes. Done. Boys, any parting words for the viewers at home?
Mm.
No,
Nothing.
done.
It's just I'm glad to be here. Glad to
Yeah.
be recording again. It's nice to record a
Hey.
video for you folks.
We love to see it, Brad. We love to see it. I don't know why I said that so dramatically, but
And I
all
love
right, boys.
I know, right? Love to see-
Take care, guys.
Yep. Have a good one.